Hello, I'm the Code Architect. Today, we're demystifying fine-tuning and RAG. Let's choose the right tool for the job.
So, you've got a powerful AI, but how do you make it truly yours? You've probably heard the terms floating around, fine-tuning and RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Look, they're two of the best ways to customize an AI, but they work in completely different ways. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what they do and help you pick the right tool for your job. You know, anyone can use a generic AI right out of the box. But the real magic, the real power, happens when you tailor that AI to your specific needs. That's the huge difference between an AI that's just smart and one that's a true specialist. So how do we get there? Well, the two main paths are RAG and fine-tuning. So here's our game plan. First, we'll meet our two contenders. Then, we'll put them head-to-head on what really matters. Are you adding knowledge or teaching a skill? Can you trust the answers? And what about the practical stuff, like cost and speed? We'll even see how they can team up before we land on a super clear framework to help you choose. All right, let's dive right in and meet the contenders. And to make this super easy to remember, we're going to use two simple, but I think really powerful analogies, the librarian and the chef. So on one side, you've got RAG. The best way to think about RAG is as the ultimate research assistant, or a hyper-efficient librarian. It doesn't actually change the AI's brain. Instead, it gives the AI a massive, constantly updated library to pull information from, like in real time. So how does this actually work? Let's peek under the hood. When you ask a question, the RAG system doesn't just go straight to the AI. Nope. First, it zips over to an external knowledge base. This could be your company's internal documents, the latest news articles, whatever you want. It finds the most relevant bits of info and then hands that context to the AI along with your original question. The result? A way more accurate, totally up-to-date answer. And in the other corner, we have fine-tuning. This is our expert chef. Now, the chef already knows all the basics of cooking, right? That's the pre-trained model. Fine-tuning is like sending that chef to a specialty school to master a specific cuisine. It's not about giving them new facts, like the population of a city. It's about teaching them a new skill or a new style. The process for fine-tuning is totally different. You're not connecting to some external library. Instead, you're directly retraining the original AI on a very specific, curated set of examples. We're talking maybe thousands of examples of perfectly written customer service chats. And what you get at the end is a brand new, specialized version of that model, one that has truly learned and internalized a new skill. And this brings us to the biggest, most fundamental difference between them. You have to ask yourself, am I trying to give my AI new knowledge, or am I trying to teach it a new skill? Seriously, this one question is going to guide almost your entire decision. So here's the bottom line. RAG is your choice. When your information is dynamic, it's changing all the time, and it needs to be current. Fine-tuning, on the other hand, is your go-to when you need the model to get better at a certain behavior or task it kind of already knows how to do, like you want to change its tone or make it way more accurate at classifying things. A perfect example for RAG? Think about a customer service spot for a big online store. Product prices, inventory, shipping details, that stuff changes constantly. You can't retrain the whole AI model every single hour. But with RAG, you just connect it to your live product database and boom, it always has the latest, most accurate info. And for fine-tuning, imagine you're trying to analyze customer reviews. A general AI knows what positive and negative mean, sure, but you can fine-tune it on thousands of your customer reviews, and it becomes an expert at understanding the specific slang, the sarcasm, the unique ways your customers talk. It just nails that one specific task with incredible accuracy. All right, let's move on to our next big factor, trust. Because, sometimes getting the right answer isn't enough. You also need to know how the AI got to that answer. This is where RAG has a massive advantage. Because it's pulling information from specific documents, you can always point to the source. It's transparent. You can say, here's where I got that from. Fine-tuning, well, it's more of a black box. The new skill gets baked so deep into the model's neural network that it's almost impossible to trace why it said one thing instead of another. It just knows. And let's be totally real here, neither of these methods is magic. There's an old saying in computer science, garbage in, garbage out. It absolutely applies here. For RAG, if your library of information is a mess or just plain wrong, you're gonna get bad answers. And for fine-tuning, if your training examples are biased or low quality, guess what? You're gonna get a flawed, biased model.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. We're talking about the realities of any project: time, money, and effort. So, what's it actually going to take to get one of these up and running?
Look, in most cases, RAG is going to be the winner on this front. Setting up a searchable knowledge base is usually much faster and cheaper than the alternative, which is painstakingly creating a huge, high-quality training data set and then paying for all the expensive computing power to run the fine-tuning, which, by the way, can take days. For a lot of people, the timeline and budget alone are going to point straight to RAG.
So, up until now, we've been talking about this like it's an either-or choice, right? A big showdown. But what if I told you they don't have to be enemies? What if you could actually get the best of both worlds? A hybrid approach can be unbelievably powerful. Imagine you're building a medical AI. First, you could fine-tune the model on medical textbooks. You're teaching it the specialized language, the complex concepts. You're teaching it the skill of being a doctor. Then you use RAG to connect it to a database of the very latest medical research papers. Now you've got an expert who's also completely up to date. It's the best of both.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's bring it all home and boil it down to a simple, clean framework to help you make the right call for your project.
Think of this table as your ultimate cheat sheet. It really just boils down to 4 key questions. 1. What's your goal? If it's real-time knowledge, go RAG. If it's a specific skill, that's fine-tuning. 2. What's your data look like? Dynamic and ever-changing? RAG. A static, high-quality set of examples? Fine-tuning. 3. How important is trust? If you need to trace your answers, RAG is the only way to go. And finally, 4. What are your resources? Need something fast and cheap? That's almost always RAG. Go ahead and pause here and just see which column fits your project. So to wrap it all up, just remember those analogies. RAG is the librarian, going out and fetching knowledge. Fine-tuning is the chef, learning a new skill in the kitchen. One is about knowing what, the other is about knowing how. And don't forget, they can be a powerful team. At the end of the day, the right choice really just comes down to having a super clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve. So here's where we leave you. You now have the framework to go beyond some generic, off-the-shelf AI and build something truly specialized and powerful. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?
Like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more AI insights. I'm the Code Architect. See you soon.